Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining today's webinar on meal prepping. My name is Jennifer Collings and I'm part of the LiveWELL team, and I'm excited to bring this topic to you today. At the end of this webinar, you'll be able to have an access code to get your incentive for the personal well-being. So stay to the end to get that code. Today we're going to talk about what is meal prepping. What are some of the interchangeable terms when discussing meal prepping? There are some myths around meal prepping, so we're going to discuss that. We'll discuss why this is beneficial, what does meal prepping look like, and how to prioritize and maintain meal prepping as part of your routine. This is just a quick example of what some meal prepping can look like. Meal prepping is a really exciting tool to use to help you be prepared and make healthy choices. It's very economical routine to add. Meal prepping is a process of weekly planning and preparation of meals over a period of time, typically 5 to 7 days. There are some other terms that you might hear: food prepping, meal planning, meal prep, or food prep. When you hear about meal prepping, there's often some thoughts or myths that go along with this. Sometimes people think meal planning is only for people who are on a diet. Another myth is that the food will get old and lose its nutritional value. There's a thought that it's expensive and time-consuming. However, what we have found is that meal prepping actually saves time. It removes the confusion on deciding what to eat. So when you're trying to figure out in the evening after a busy day what you're going to cook for dinner, it's already done for you when you've done the meal prepping. It allows for picking healthier food choices, allows for consistency and creativity, and saves money overall. And it helps you when creating a food record for your daily eating. So if you're tracking your food, if you know what you're going to, if you've prepped and you know what you're going to have for lunch and dinner, you can go ahead and put that into your food record. And then you can work around it with additional snacks and breakfast items, and if you get hungry during the day. So let's talk about how to prepare for meal prepping. One of the biggest things is the old Boy Scout idea of always being prepared. You got to know the purpose. You got to know what is your purpose in meal prepping. Another question to ask is, how long do you want the meals to last? You also need to choose what meals that you are prepping for. You can prep only dinner, you can prep lunch and dinner, you can do snacks and breakfast. You just need to choose week to week or have on your regular plan what exactly you are prepping for. You need to plan for how many people you're cooking for, what recipes you want to make, and then once you've chosen your recipes, what ingredients do you need? As you're planning your week, you need to choose what day you're going to grocery shop, what day you're going to meal prep, and are you going to do this once or twice a week? And very importantly, what is your budget? There are some basic items that you need when preparing to meal prep. You're going to need some meal prep containers. You can get this at Amazon, you can get this from Target or Walmart. You just need to have some containers with lids so that you can get your food items put together in an orderly fashion. You need to make sure you have kitchen and refrigerator space. You need to set time aside. Cutting boards, measuring cups, a knife set would also be helpful because you'll do a lot of cutting and preparing, your regular pots and pans, and then your basic cooking utensils. Some additional necessities, some extras that could be helpful would be a blender, a food scale, maybe a timer, slow cooker or Instapot. These are great items to have. If you don't, it's okay, but those can be really great when you're trying to plan and prep your food. Muffin tins are fun, and then toasters as well. So let's start talking about how to actually plan and prep your meals. First and foremost, knowing your purpose. What is it that you want to plan for? Is it because you want to eat healthier? Do you want to save time in your day? Are you trying to save money in your budget? Do you have certain diet restrictions? So going out to eat is more difficult during the day. Is it a mixture of all of the above? What are you trying to achieve overall with your meal prepping? Have fun when you're thinking about this. Be creative. Do something different each week. Step 2, how long are you looking for your meals to last? A lot of times people will cook enough on Sunday to last for 5 days. If you cook on Sunday and they only last until Wednesday, then you can cook again from Wednesday to Saturday. So some people will actually break it up. So it just depends on what you're comfortable with. When I meal prep, I tend to meal prep on Sunday, and I prepare food until about Wednesday, and then I do a reset, and I have another round of a couple of days on Wednesday, so I only have to cook for really Thursday night, and then we have leftovers maybe Friday. So but you got to do what works for you. It's important to look at your evening schedule. What kids' activities do you have? What meetings might you have that run late, so that you know how to plan. You can cook on any days off from work that last 5 days, and then the weekends are a good time to wing it. So, maybe if you like to go out once a week, maybe you choose on Saturday, that's the day that you'll go out, so you don't have to cook. Maybe you like to prep on Sunday, and then you have a Sunday dinner that night. So just whatever works best with your schedule. The key here is to plan it out. Step 3, figure out which meals that you're going to prep for. Are you going to do breakfast, lunch, and dinner? A good rule of thumb is lunch and dinner. A lot of times that's what people will do. They'll just prep for their lunch to take it to work or to school, and then they'll prep obviously for dinner. Breakfast is kind of easy. You can schedule that out and prep that if needed. Things like oatmeal and waffles, those are pretty quick that you can do in the morning. What's really fun is if you use your muffin tin and you find a recipe for a high protein breakfast that you can cook ahead. Those are fun. Then it's a grab and go type breakfast. Also consider your snacks. Think about what snacks that you need to prep for. Apples and peanut butter are easy. You can cut them up the day in advance. They don't get brown. Peanut butter keeps, so that's a pretty good one to have on hand. Nuts and berries and grapes, those are easy to throw into a bag the night before if you're prepping those for lunch and snacks. Step 4, very important to know how many people you're cooking for. When I prep, I prep my lunches for myself, my dinner for my family of 5. So it's a little bit cumbersome because I have to, when I do my prepping, I do it in 2 stages. I do my lunch prep and then I do my dinner prep for the week. All of this depends on the serving size and the portion control. So think about who you're feeding. If you have small children, you want to keep their portions a little bit smaller and more manageable. If you have big teenage boys, they may need a little bit bigger portion size. Same with your adults in the house. Decide what is an appropriate portion size for their good health and then for your budget and for your prepping. Make sure you have enough food. That's really important. Again, goes back to that portion control. Make sure this matches the purpose of the meal prepping. If your purpose of meal prepping is for weight control, keep that in mind when you're building your portions. Step 5, what recipes are you interested in making? And it can be a variety throughout the week. Always fun to have a meatless meal during the week, but then you can do like taco or Mexican type meals are great. Low sodium, reduced fat, high protein. Make it fun. Be creative. You don't have to stick to any one diet. Just make sure that it's healthy, high, rich in fruits and vegetables and whole grains. See if you use a cookbook or website to help to develop some of your recipes. Homemade recipes are great and can be a meal prep favorite or meal prep to go to. So if you have recipes that your family loves that you make, maybe it's spaghetti or lasagna or something like that, you can always have those as a go-to. And those typically are easy to make enough to where you can have leftovers the next day and can feed for a couple of days. Step 6, what ingredients and kitchen supplies do you need? Make sure you have, when you're doing your meal prepping, part of this is making your grocery list and your recipe list. Go through your refrigerator and your pantry and see what ingredients you may already have. Sometimes it's fun to work backwards, go see what ingredients you have, and then find a recipe that matches that. That will help your overall budget when you're doing your grocery shopping. Step 7, what day will you grocery shop? What day are you going to meal prep? And or do you plan to do this once or twice a week? A good rule of thumb is to pick one day to grocery shop and then one day to meal prep, or pick 2 days of what you're going to do the meal prep. So look at your week like we already discussed. Look at your week, see what works for you. A lot of times people will make their ingredient list on Friday, they do their grocery shopping on Saturday, and then they do their meal prep on Sunday. But you do what works for you. We'll talk about it again in a minute, but online grocery shopping or grocery delivery is a great way to save some time. So you're not, if you have a weekend that's busy with activities, you can have the groceries either just pick them up or have them delivered to your house. That saves a lot of time. Step 8, what is your budget? How much are you willing to spend weekly on your groceries for meal prep? If your goal for meal prepping is to keep your costs down, keep this in mind as you're choosing recipes and working with ingredients that you already have in your house. Use your coupons, be on the lookout for sales. A lot of grocery stores will do sales weekly. There are a lot of people that they do their meal prepping per the sales that are going on for the week. So they look at their ingredient list, they look at the sales, and then they find a recipe that matches both. Be open to going to various grocery stores and health food stores. Again, with online grocery shopping and grocery delivery, and Instacart, this makes being able to shop around to keep your budget down very easy. This is something that I do. I will go through and find, boxed items and that type of thing might be cheaper at Walmart, but I get meat and vegetables from Harris Teeter, that type of thing. Keep your receipts to track your savings and to help with improving your budget. And then keep a note too of what recipes that you chose that went well and which ones didn't go so well. And then the ones that go well, you can repeat and you can see how much those were going to cost versus the ones that did not go so well. When you're meal prepping, multitasking is used a lot. There's a lot of times when you're going to be cutting and chopping while you're cooking and over the stove. So make sure that you have help in there with you. Wash dishes as you go so you don't end up doing all the prep and then you have to do all the cleanup. Make sure your space is nice and clean. You have enough space to do what you need to do. And then, like I said, get your kids involved. If you have young children that can reach the counter, or if you have teenagers, get them involved. Make planning and prepping a family affair. This will teach them early how to add this into their routine. When you're doing your meal prep, create a cooking atmosphere. Take pictures of your meals. If you're a Pinterest person, post them on Pinterest to make it nice and fun. If you're you can get glass containers or you can get plastic. When you're using plastic, make sure they're the BPA-free containers. Ease into it. Don't go into meal prepping. If you've never meal prepped before, don't say today, okay, next week I'm going to meal prep 3 meals a day for 5 days. You're going to get very overwhelmed. Take a step back and look at your schedule and say, okay, where would be a really easy place to start? If you like to bring your lunch to work, prepping your lunch is usually an easy place to start. If that's not your thing, then definitely start with a couple of dinners during the week and then see how it goes from there. Be nice to yourself, be gentle with yourself, be open to having things not go well occasionally, and then learn from those mistakes, and so you can be successful as you continue. Tips for refrigeration and freezing meals in order to prevent any foodborne illness or old food is it's best to only make 5 days worth of food. If you don't consume the food after about 3 days, you can freeze it. To unthaw, place in a refrigerator the day before, then reheat in a microwave, toaster oven, or in a regular oven. If the freshness is really a concern to you, try doing a meal twice a week instead of once a week. So you may have to cook and do the prepping a little more frequently if that's a concern for you. Grocery shopping tips: be sure to view expiration dates. You know, if you're going to cook something right away, sometimes you can find really great sales on meat. If they put the meat out that day, if you're going to do sometimes ground beef or some of the bigger meats, you can get at a really great discount if you're going to cook it that day. We talked about sales. Look out for coupons. Shop the perimeter of the store. That's where your healthier food is going to be found. Make a list and check off your items. This is huge. We know that when we make a list to go to the grocery store, it helps us to save money because we're less likely to do impulsive buys. So we're less likely to throw chips and crackers and cookies into the cart if we have a plan and we know what we need to get. Read your food labels. If you're getting something new that you've never had before, read your food labels, see what the sodium content, the fat content, and the cholesterol, if there's other items on that food label that you're concerned about. If you forget something off your list, be open to returning to the store. Happens all the time. Again, Instacart is a really fun problem solver for this. If you know you forgot something and you don't feel like going back out, if you don't need it right away, you can just have somebody through Instacart bring it to you. The cleanup, this can feel exhausting, but when you get to the cleanup stage, you're almost there, right? So and clean as you go as much as possible. Another great tip when you're meal prepping is clean ahead of time. So if you go into the kitchen and you see that the dishwasher needs to be unloaded or there are dishes in the sink, go ahead and do a pre-clean and get your area nice and ready and prepped. And then at the end, all you have to do is clean up the dishes that you use to do your prepping. Use the dishwasher as you can, clean stains in your kitchen. Ask for help. This is another great thing is if you have kids, get them involved in the cleanup as well. Here are some additional resources for your meal prepping. Another great resource I use every week is Pinterest. Some easy recipes here. Really, there's no wrong way to do it. Just pick foods that you know that you and your family will enjoy. Be open to trying new things. Like I said, a meatless Monday is kind of fun. Taco Tuesday can be fun. Make sure you choose recipes that are quick, they're easy, they fit into your schedule, and that you and your family will enjoy. Here are some additional links for recipes. All Recipe is a great one. Eating Well is another great one. Simply Recipes, I use that one a lot too. Additional ideas. So this is a recommendation that I make to a lot of people as to use a meal kit service like Blue Apron, HelloFresh, those type of things. We have a list there that says there's some here in Charlotte or in the Charlotte area. But this is a great way if you are brand new to prepping, you're brand new to cooking, you're not one that normally cooks. Using a meal kit service can be very powerful because they'll send you the food. All you do is choose it. They send it to you however many times a week that you request, and then you cook it there. They give you the instructions, you follow the recipe card. What I have found is that when people use a meal kit service, they tend to learn how to cook, learn how to prep, and then they can go off and do it on their own, and they no longer longer need the meal kit service. So it's a great way to teach yourself how to cook without having to take time to go to a class. Absolutely go to a class if that's your thing. That can be a really fun thing to go do. But in the meantime, if you're trying to get this meal prepping started, a meal kit or meal planning service can be a really great tool. On the right, it talks about the grocery ordering, what stores you can do online pickup and online stores. And then there are a lot of grocery stores now that do delivery. Like I said, Instacart is awesome. Staying committed. Remember the purpose. Depend on an accountability partner. Plan ahead. Get some rest. So it's going to be hard to prep on a Sunday if you stayed out late on Saturday and you're tired. So it's going to be hard to get motivated. So keep your goals in mind. Cute little saying here, meal prep, menus, eat, affordable list, planning rocks, especially prepping. Have fun, enjoy your meal prepping. It is a valuable tool for you and your family. All right, to get that personal well-being incentive award, you're going to go to our portal. You're going to click on the LiveWELL Wellbeing Webinars. Then you're going to click on completed a well-being webinar. It's going to pull up a survey. Complete that survey. You're going to fill in the instructor for this webinar. My name is Jennifer Collings, and the code for this webinar is JC0205. If you have additional questions about meal prepping or how to put together a healthy recipe, please reach out to our health coaches. They would enjoy speaking with you and helping you to set goals and teaching you how to do this meal prepping. If you've enjoyed this webinar, please put it out on Yammer to invite other people to partake in this webinar. I appreciate your time. Thank you very much.